Thank you very much.
That's
Good.
very fun.
So thanks all very much for coming. And I'm sure others will join. There was a water aerobics class. I finished at 11:15. So, they're probably making their way from there. I did it. So I want to thank the WSSC team for coming and let you introduce yourselves and those online. Hey, Julie. As I mentioned to you, we've had a lot of interest in WSSC work here in the town over the past, especially I think really over the past year or two. And I thought it'd be useful for residents to learn a bit more about what the plans are on various issues, and I'll let the residents bring them up. But I just wanted to sort of put a few things that I'd identified in my message to you already. There are other issues, of course, residents will bring them up. One was the sanitary overflow in our parkland in the back, just to give us a sense of how it's working out. Do you have any concerns, any issues? So far, so good, it seems, but we'd like to just get an update on that. Second, we've had what appears to us, but you have the data. What appears to us an increasing number of water main breaks in Somerset. We've had at least two in pretty much the same intersection at near Warwick and Folkestone. And so we'd like to get a sense from you. Is this something that you are concerned about? What do you see? I know you can't predict where the next break will be, but that leads me to my third point, which is many of us got the flyer some months ago that there's a big dig coming next year or something. Maybe you can just update us on the plans for that, what we should expect as a town. And then that leads me to my final point, which is I think one of the things that is somewhat unique to municipalities like this is the residents here kind of would like to know in advance when utility work's going to get done, so that we can have cars moved, so we can change traffic patterns, etc. Plus, we're one of the few neighborhoods with a school within our boundaries, so the school bus and school drop-off. It would be, it does affect people's morning and afternoon pick-up and drop-off. So I wanted to see if we could discuss some way in which, to the extent that you are able to inform us, if we come up with some sort of protocols to let EJ, our town manager, know that on such and such day, such and such work will be done, and then we can put out the word in advance. I know you often come and put no parking signs on anyway, but to the extent that we can do that, I think it would help the residents here. So I just wanted to put those issues on the table. I'm going to turn it over to you, and then we can go over question and answers from additional points from residents as well. So maybe you wanted to all introduce yourselves, and then I'll hand it over to the team, to you as a team.
This meeting is being recorded.
Absolutely. At this time, I'll ask that Abby can share her screen.
Okay.
So just thank you for the invitation to be here today to speak with residents, especially Mayor Khanna, you were so kind to just enumerate these things for us in an email, which we took and put a little presentation together based on that email and these points that you just outlined.
Right.
So we're going to touch on everything we just talked about.
Right.
We have assembled a variety of WSSC water experts to join us today. So you have all the right people in the room, right? You got all the right people either online or with us in the room today. I will go ahead. My name is Joy Hamilton. I'm the project outreach manager for WSSC Water. It's my job to make sure that we keep you all informed every step of the way. And we're going to talk a little bit about what that is going to look like. I'll go ahead and let the folks at the table introduce themselves here today. Sure, certainly.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Katerina Zambrana. I'm the design project manager for water main projects for WSSC.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm customer advocate Brandon Stewart. I hope everybody enjoyed their holiday. I'm very familiar with working in the township. So I serve as a liaison between WSSC Water and our customers, and again, very familiar with the township and other municipalities in the area. So nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Ken Lethbridge. I'm a manager with the Pipeline Construction Division. My group does the planned works like water main replacements, sewer main replacements in the new location. So we're the ones digging up very high streets. Before we go on, the water main replacement or sewer main replacement.
We do have a few people
Yes.
joining from online. Are they able to unmute?
Yeah, they're all able to.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
So you're gonna call on them?
Maybe, sure, Nathan?
Sure, I'll go next. I was trying to be a gentleman and let the ladies go first, but I'll go.
Oh, sure.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nathan Gross. I am Montgomery County's field operations manager with WSSC. I handle all of the sewer cleaning, responses to basement backups, overflows, and we do all of the mainline sewer cleaning. So I hope I can answer many of your questions today. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. We also have, I think Hardeep is on.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hardeep Kumar. I'm a project manager for Pipeline Design Division, and we will work on the various projects with the designing and all the stuff like that.
Okay, and then also my right hand is on the phone. Abigail Abrahams, Abby?
Good morning. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Abigail Abrahams, and I am the Project Outreach Support Specialist. So I support Boy and this team in getting information out to you all. So it's great to be here today.
Wonderful. Thank you, Abby, for sharing the slide deck with us. Is there any other WSSC Water team member on the line that I may have missed?
Hi, Joy, I'm here.
Oh, Monica.
Hi. Good afternoon. My name is Monica Marquina. I'm the Director of Government Affairs, and our office is actually a liaison to all of you. So it's wonderful that you were able to identify a time for us to be with you today. Any concerns or issues or ways that we can partner together, feel free to reach out to me. I'll make sure you all have my contact information. And with me today is my colleague, Jordan Balcom-Colbert, and I'll let her introduce herself and her role. Thank you.
Hello and good morning, and thank you, Monica. Again, Jordan Balcom-Colbert, Government Affairs, Government Relations Manager. I am new to WSSC, and I'm so excited about working with you all in this capacity. And as Monica has said, we are a liaison to you all, and we hope to be a bridge and communicate with you soon in the future. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful.
Great.
All right. So as you can see, yes, we've brought a
That's
slice
really
of the
really
commission.
appreciate that so many of you have taken the time for that. I really appreciate that.
Wonderful. Okay, next slide, please. All right. So on the agenda, we've met the project team. We'll do just a very brief WSSC water overview. Then you will be hearing from Nathan Gross, giving you that status update on those SSOs, those sanitary sewer overflows that are troubling Somerset. And then some of the ways that perhaps we can teach residents how to help themselves. I know Brandon Stewart has brought some material here. We'll talk about that for distribution during that as well. We will also talk about upcoming construction projects. So Katarina will be taking us through that. So I knew you were very interested in learning about that. We'll talk all about it. It will happen in 2 phases. I will come back and talk a little bit about your community engagement, how we'll notify all of you about the upcoming work and some of the touch points we'll have along the way. Then some important contact information we want you to know. We always give information also about customer bill assistance every time we go out. So we'll talk a little bit about that and just keep it open for questions, Q&A at the end. Okay?
Very good.
All right. So important project context. Now, first, you see this big QR code over here to the left. We will have this presentation up on the WSSC Water website under WSSCwater.com/project meetings. It will live up there. You can reference this. You all are doing the best thing by recording it. So you'll have a recording of our actual presentation. We will just have the slides. The slides will be available on our website at that location. Now, this is a very important slide because these folks are kind of your lifeline for future questions about the project. Katarina's going to talk about the projects. Brandon knows a little bit about everything. He is really one who can help direct you if he can't answer it himself. So, okay. I've lost the presentation. But
Sorry, that's my computer. Just a second. Sorry.
No problem. There we go. Perfect. So then we always want you to know about also how to report a water or sewer emergency. So our emergency services center is open 24/7. If you call there, it's on a recorded line. That's at 301-206-4002, or you can email. And so if you see something that's amiss, we are monitoring our systems, of course, but you all live here, live in the community. You may see something first. So we want to know about it. We want to hear about it. So if you can also email us at emergencycallcenter@wsscwater.com. All right. Next slide, please, Abby. Okay. And with that, I'll turn it over actually to Nathan Gross, who is our section manager for water and wastewater systems assessment.
There we go. Okay, good morning again, ladies and gentlemen. So this slide pretty much is touching on SSOs, what's happening, what we're doing. There has been a significant amount of grease found in two particular sewer segments off of 5703 Warwick Place. A lot of these emergencies that have happened out here have been greatly caused to wipes and grease found in the pipes. Just here recently, back in July, we made some adjustments, and the crew members found a lot of grease and wipes in the pipes. So we did inspect both segments off of Warwick down into the right of way where it goes to the creek. So we believe we got a good handle on it now. These segments that are behind 5703 Warwick Place are on a 3-month cleaning schedule. They were on an annual at one time. One of the sewer segments in the right of way, the closest to the creek, has been lined because we did identify roots in our past history. So that's been addressed. Like I said, so the first cleaning is in March, just to help you gauge throughout the years in the event something else occurs. So March and then July. We were out there in June here recently because one of the other things that was bothering me greatly, because one of our greatest priorities is protecting the environment, and I couldn't respond fast enough. So what we do have out in the system now behind 5703 Warwick Place is what we call a smart cover. So it's a monitoring device. So if the water levels in this manhole rise, I get a direct alert to my cell phone. Nate, the water levels rise in this manhole. It could be a potential SSO event. So we believe we've addressed any future events that could potentially occur out there. We just had one event June 1st where I got a text 6 o'clock at night and I sent the crew out to clean it. So that was one way we prevented it. But the cleaning schedule is a 3-month cleaning schedule. Like I said, March, July. The next cleaning that we'll be doing out there will be in September. Okay. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Any questions from residents? I mean, I just have a very basic question. When you talk about significant grease found in this sewer main here, is this unique to this particular main, or is this a problem throughout town or other places? And why is this a problem with this particular location?
Well, that's one of the reasons we're here today, sir, to talk to you and get you to help us out. And like Mr. Brandon Stewart said, he brought some flyers in regards to trying to educate the community. We don't blame anyone for anything. We're not in that business. My job is to educate everyone in our collection system in Montgomery and Prince George's County. That's what we like to do, because we do and have realized that we have several people from different demographics of life who don't understand and don't know that they can't do these things. So this is one of the things that we love to do, and we're glad we're here to speak with you and ask you for your help in our efforts in trying to keep wipes and grease out the pipes. No, it's not just this area. It's a collective within our system. But since we're meeting with you, we just wanted to share this with you. We've located it in other areas within Chevy Chase as well, and we're addressing those as well. We believe if we stay on top of our cleaning schedule, we should be able to keep everything flowing. But this particular area has had so many events. This was just Nate trying to be proactive to respond a lot faster by putting this flow monitoring device in this one spot. Sometimes within the collection system, it can be isolated. It's not always the whole system. I hope I answered your question, sir.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, Nathan, my name is Jeff. Just a suggestion going forward, could you get us a version of the sewer map that shows us the sewer shed upstream of this manhole? My sense is it's a very limited area because of the topography. Therefore, we could literally identify, I think it's probably 15, 20, 30 addresses where we can really target delivery of materials.
And that's a good point, because that's what we did when the last emergency event happened. Myself and two other colleagues went door to door on the homes that are on that segment, but we also know it's a connected system. So the folks who are dumping grease and wipes down aren't usually the ones that are impacted, but we can definitely provide you some of the addresses we targeted before. But we would also say too, in other inspections, even though it didn't cause an overflow, we still see remnants of grease in the pipes. It's just we're able to get to it before an emergency happens. So that's why we're saying, for the greater good, it's good to just notify everybody.
So to clarify, the grease and the wipes, is that coming from a broader area and is somehow becoming a problem at this particular segment, or is it really very a localized source?
Do you want to speak to it, Nate? I know you're out there.
Yeah. Yeah, can you clarify? Is it sort of collecting, and is there something in the topography or the design of the system there that makes it a problem?
We've looked at that as well, and we're actually looking into seeing is it a better idea for us to try to reroute it. We're still investigating it and trying to come up with possibly a potential different design so that this doesn't happen in the next 100 years again. So I don't have a definitive answer as far as what the next step will be in terms of a design.
Okay, thank you. Bruce?
Yeah, I should mention, we are.
I think Miss Monica.
Hello, and I think I've spoken to you. You will be aware that WSCC has spent almost $200,000 in the last 15,000. We had an overflow, a backflow, and you reline those pipes. And I think thanks to Jeff, who did a great deal of research, some of your topography in those pipes come up and down and don't work. We don't use any grease. That's number one. So that's there. And I don't know if water comes in from that sewer and flows into there, but that's been an ongoing problem. And I recently called you folks. We received some literature about how to check the backflow so it doesn't come back into my neighbor's house, which it did, and ours did some time ago. And again, at great discomfort at our house and great expense to you. That's what we're talking about, trying to get that fixed. So it's not just from one place.
No.
We don't use grease. So
Yeah.
the bottom line is, what are we going to do about that? And is there other contributors, meaning that area that comes in?
Yeah, and like we said, for this particular area, it is community, because again, these pipes, correct me if I'm wrong, Nate, these pipes are probably almost 100 years old.
Yes.
So it's over the course of decades that grease has built up in the system and then becomes a problem. So even if you go further downtown to some of the local restaurants and businesses, We even have our fat, oil, and grease division go down there and speak with them because we've had other businesses back up as a result of what other businesses are putting down the line. So again, you can't really target one specific home or one issue. We just know it all meets in the same place, and this particular area seems to be the biggest problem. But one thing I will say, no matter the amount of rehab we do, if the behavior pattern doesn't change, it will just repeat itself further down the line, and then new residents move in, they'll start experiencing the same thing we're all experiencing now. So that's why we really want to push education and push the maintenance. But again, it's really a behavior pattern as far as what our customers are putting down their lines. And again, you could be putting down a line, it'll go downstream and get clogged 3 blocks away, and then it ends up being
Yeah, that's what
someone
I'm trying to
else's.
understand.
Yeah,
What
someone
is
else's
the,
problem.
what's the term here?
If you
not
guys
the
can get
watershed,
us
but the sewers?
sewer shed.
Sewer.
Basically, if
Yeah.
you guys can get us
Yeah.
the map of the upstream from 5703 Warwick, we can delineate and help identify who's upstream. They have to be the source of the wipes and the fats, oils, and
Jeff
grease.
has done a great deal of work on this for everybody to know that, for the neighbors, what a great
I'm
job.
noticing Monica Marquina's
Yeah.
hand has been
Yeah.
quietly
Yeah.
raised on.
Debbie, did you have a question before I turn to Monica?
I do have a question,
Yeah, go
but
ahead.
not about wipes. I have a question about grease.
Go ahead.
And I'd like to figure out how we can better educate our residents about grease. So I'm assuming you're talking about, I fry up something, I have a pot of, a thing of grease. Don't put it down
Yes.
Yeah, Nate is our resident expert, but it can be anything. It can be, we don't like to see anything that has any fat in it going down there. Cottage cheese, anything going down that's like.
So we need that list then, and then we can
Yeah.
share that because
Yeah.
we compost in this neighborhood. So I know I take my grease, I freeze it,
Yeah.
and I throw it in the compost.
Bravo.
But what about the residual grease? I'm washing out my pan. There's still residual grease on there.
Yeah.
How do even if I wipe it out, there's gonna be some grease.
Okay, that little bit,
Yeah.
that is not what we're talking about. That little bit, you want to try to get out with a paper towel and get as much of it into your trash bin as you can.
Yeah.
Right? But we're trying to educate people also that it's a myth to just be able to run hot water and put a little dishwasher soap and it'll magically go away. That is not so.
So what we need a list. It's cottage cheese. Is it yogurt? I don't know.
Yeah, and we have information on
Is
our
it-
website. and
because
we
then
also have
we can
some
reach out.
flyers.
We're gonna
We have
give
some
you-
flyers
okay.
we leave with you, door hangers as well.
No, we can do a campaign on that.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll send you the links
Yes.
so that you can
Just send us a
link
list.
to
Yeah.
what we have out there
Yeah.
to start that
Yeah,
campaign.
we put a town
Okay.
announcement based on what you said.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And
Monica, please go
and
ahead.
then what I'm sorry.
No, no,
Monica, yeah.
yeah, sorry. Monica,
Thank
please.
you so much. And I was just going to reiterate that. We'd love to bring all this information to you, but we know that you are closest to our customers, right? We do what we can to provide that messaging to them. But any newsletters you have, any listservs, any upcoming events that you may have in the community that you think it would be valuable for us to try to be there, certainly highlight those events as well. We can't cover everything in every community just by some additional background. We have 47 municipalities throughout our service area. So you all keep us very busy and we like to do this work, but we just do need your help to just reiterate the importance of ignoring what those wipes say on the packaging. Yes, they're flushable, but they don't degrade like a paper towel or toilet paper, which is why we push that message. And then the grease, we hand out canned grease all the time, lids all the time. We also have like rubber scrapers that we try to do. But yes, anything you can do to just echo our messaging would be greatly appreciated. I also wanted to touch on, there was talk about backflow valves and different things. I do want to just emphasize that way back when we did service like stormwater, right? We were responsible for stormwater. That was handed over the counties many decades ago. But as part of that, anything connected to our sewer is no longer allowed. Now, some connections have grandfathered in, but that also, given the fact that a lot of the stormwater infrastructure has not been upgraded in many, many moons, there may be some connections out there that contribute. So when you have that heavy rainfall in a short amount of time, it used to be the 100-year flood, right? Now we're seeing it too frequent, right? And so we're having a lot of water into the areas, low-lying areas especially, that are contributing to some of that SSO and some of the backups that you will see. Also, if you have a backflow valve, and Brandon, you're there, you can explain this, but if it's something that you have done with us, that the responsibility of maintaining that, ensuring that there's nothing blocking that to letting the water flow is on the homeowner. And so that's something that we frequently ask the homeowner to be aware of. There may be a new owner there, a new tenant that may not be aware that they even have one, but you should be frequently checking to make sure there's nothing blocking that backflow valve. And I'll stop there. Thank you so much.
How do you possibly check the backflow valve when it's buried
Yeah,
underneath?
so what you do is you can contact a licensed registered plumber to check it. It normally has a lid on it where they can unscrew it and pull it out. But in some cases, depending on how old it is and when it was installed, sometimes
I
it is
have no
buried.
idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, where
because
is
there's
it?
no
What is
there's
it?
no backflow signs, whatever.
Okay.
When you folks came in here
Mhm.
and you redid the inside of the pipes and you said, there's a backflow in here, it will never come back again for myself and then the Rowans who live next door, were
Okay.
all over that from the Washington Post.
Okay.
This is all news. We have no idea what that is
Okay.
or maintain.
Okay, so they're talking
All
in term
news.
backflow. Okay, so this is what I'll do. Once we conclude the meeting, I'll get your contact information and I'll look more into it because there's a term called backflow, but then there's also something called a backflow valve, and it may have been just the term of backflow coming back into the property. So once we conclude the meeting, I'll get your information and we'll take a look into it, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
This
sir.
is all news.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And this lady's been very patient.
Thanks. I'm a new resident here and 2 weeks after we moved into our house, we had a massive sewer backup in the basement. Tore out the entire carpet, tore out all the cabinetry that had just been built. We filed a claim before the end of April and have consistently communicated with WSSC as to when we will be reimbursed. What's the status with reimbursement for all of these thousands of dollars? that
Yep.
we
And what I'll do is have you already been in contact with your claims agent?
Many times.
Okay, so what I'll do is with the conclusion of this meeting, if you can just provide me your address and the name of your claim agent, when I get back to my office, I'll follow up with them to get an update on the status of your claim.
I appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Rohit. The fact that different people are having basement backups is information that we need to understand as a town. So we can do our own, if you will, sleuthing about causes and effects. So for example, upstream of the sanitary sewer overflow, there was an entire sewer line, private sewer line replaced on Cumberland. And I
Yes.
always wondered,
Yeah.
why was that replaced? Did it fail?
Yeah, I can speak to that.
Anyway, the notion here is, I think if we have a collective understanding of who's having basement backups, we can help connect the dots a little bit and figure out if they're related or not.
Yeah, and just so you can know, Cumberland, so the subject we're here for as far as backups are recent wipes. Some of the service line replacements, like the one you're talking about on Cumberland, that pipe just failed because it was old. Because I think there was also a tree that may have potentially had to be removed as a part of it, if I remember. So that particular one wasn't necessarily grease or wipes. We believe it was either a tree roof or the pipe had actually failed, and we had to go in and actually replace the service line for that particular address. So it's a number of reasons, but specifically for your questions, we spoke to Ward. That's going to be more grease in our wipe.
And I should say, in all fairness, I ran the industrial waste program and developed the original fats, oil, and grease program for WSSC in the early days.
Yeah.
So there's a mole in the group.
No, I know. Yeah, we work.
Oh, that's great. Oh, wow.
Want to move on to the next?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Next slide, Abby, please. Okay, and now I'll turn it over to Katarina.
Good afternoon. I will take over the next couple slides. So I wanted to talk about a little bit of, let's get out of the sewer and go to the water pipes. So I want to talk a little bit about what's coming to the old neighborhood as far as water main replacement projects. So based on the number of water main breaks in the recent, decades back, I think dating to 1994, we had significant amount of water main breaks in the neighborhood of town of Somerset. So we plan the two phases, because of the whole, mileage amount, we plan the replacement in two phases. So what you can see on the screen right now is the phase one. Majority of the phase one is in the town of Somerset. I think it's about 80% of that blue. The blue lines are the streets that will be replaced in the phase one. The phase one finished design now in June 2026, and we're moving to construction in 2027 in the spring. And the whole construction of phase one will take about 3 years. Wow, so 3 years to complete everything. 80% of those pipes are within the town of Somerset. And then the second slide is is phase two. So here on the slides now you can see a phase two of those water main replacements. And all those streets are within the town of Somerset. This has finished planning, and now we'll move to design in next year. The design will take about a year, and then the construction will follow. So probably by the time they finish phase one construction, we'll be starting construction on phase two.
Possibly sometime in 2028 or something. Possibly.
Yeah, the end of 2028 or the end of 2029, something like that, for the construction itself.
So basically, all of 27 and all of 2028, we should expect significant water main replacement project work in Somerset.
That is correct, yes.
So that means you'll be installing temporary service lines down the sides of the streets.
Yes, the majority of in phase one is the bypass, will be bypassed because the streets are very narrow. There's no more space to put a new pipe, and leaving the existing pipe in service. So, bypass time is from March to November. So those pipes will be replaced within those periods. There's a little bit on here on Cumberland, and I think one more location where we will do relocation. So that may be for the winter months, but.
Do most of these water mains run down the center of the street, off the side of the street, or is it hard to say?
It's a mix.
It's a mix, okay.
It's a mix, yeah.
And people will care about trees. Will this impact
It will impact.
the area on either side of the street?
Yes, so it will impact some trees, and we also will provide notification to the homeowners if there are any trees that will need to be taken out because of the services. We always try to keep the trees. Our main intention is not to remove those trees, but if there's no way around it, then those residents will be notified. Whoever.
And we have a team of urban foresters too, who go out and evaluate the trees just to be sure whether or not they can be saved, just so I know that you would be very concerned about being sure about each one. Yes, question.
Sure you know this, but to say that loud, a lot of those trees along the roads do not belong to the residents, they're on town property.
Yeah.
So there's notifying the resident like that.
Well, I mean, we understand that it's, we also notify the town arborist, our forester is in touch with the town arborist. But we still notify the residents because even though it's not belong to their property, it's in front of their houses and, right. So
how will water service to each individual house suffer from this, if any? Where you're digging up pipes and replacing pipes?
Will there be service interruptions during the project?
So there will be minimum of service interruption because we will install the bypass. So there will be some water shutdowns, when we need to tie into existing mains or, connecting your house connections, but we will notify you in advance.
You know what the bypass is, right? You've
No.
seen, right, that's what I mean.
Okay, so bypass is a temporary pipe. So basically we install temporary pipe along the curb of the road. That services, that will be connected to your service.
Same
and-
water, same quality, all of that. Mhm.
Yeah,
Yes,
we
sir.
test those before they get connected to the service.
Sorry, Nancy, Nancy, go on.
So we have a lot of really old trees in this town. Do we have to worry that a significant number of them could need to be removed? I mean, that would have quite an impact.
For phase one,
the
do you
trees,
already have an idea?
Yeah, I have an idea. I can't remember from the top of my head. The trees will, So our arborists walk the neighborhood, and if the trees is in the good conditions, even though they're old, there's no reason to take them down. We will also not remove them just because. We will only removing them if they were in conflict with the new water service for your property.
But you have to assume that the roots have spread, you know.
Correct, right, yeah.
And in some situations, our office recommend limb pruning or root pruning. And then in most instances too, and it's not gonna be full size, we also have what's called a tree replacement program. So once the work's done, if there is space and it's enough distance from other utilities, including our own, we will work with the township or the homeowner to put in a specific tree back in its place. But again, it's not gonna be the 50, 60-year-old tree, in some cases even older. But we do have a tree replacement program. But again, a lot of times it's for safety issues, or in some instances, the tree's planted right over top of the water line. So there's no way to really replace our infrastructure without compromising the tree. So that's how the subject of tree removal ends up coming up, because it's very close to or directly in the line of where we need to perform our work.
So can you remove like part of the roots and not necessarily
Even
kill the
tree
trees?
pruning, correct.
Okay.
David,
It's good
go
to know.
ahead, go ahead, David.
When there is a temporary water shutdown, would your estimate be hours or days?
It usually happens within the 8 hours limits. The maximum is 8 hours.
And Kevin, did you want to talk about that at all?
If we're just connecting you from, we have different types of shutdowns. We have a shutdown for water main work, where we're tying one main to another main, or we're disconnecting the main and capping it to do the work. Those can last up 8 hours. If we're just taking you from our old main to the temporary main, that's anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours. We will give you notice on both circumstances, so you're not gonna just lose water all of a sudden. That does happen, when something emergency happens, but all the planned work we do usually get it's 48 hours notice. For that, and you will be notified. We usually do door tag hangers. We hang it on your front door with the information, all the contact information, when the water's gonna go down, what you can expect. So you won't be, it won't be a surprise, Steve. Yes,
Sorry, Marian first, go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah, so what's the water quality here? Because I find that in the 5 years I've been living here, my appliances are being impacted. And I had a guy come on to see if I could install water softener. He said the quality of the water is pretty harsh here. So I'm just curious.
It could be hard water.
Yeah.
If your water stuff, it could be hard, it would be the quality, but it could be hard water, even so wells can have hard water depending on. That, I mean, I would have to refer that to, we can do constant testing.
Yes, so, and we don't have that slide in the presentation just for time, but I always start with this. We're 108 years old, the organization, and have had no water quality violations ever in our history. So for quality, there's a difference between soft and hard water versus a real quality issue. There are some other water utilities, that are under consent decrees and other things that are of significant water quality issues. We are not in that boat at all.
And ma'am, one quick question, just to clarify, you said impact. Are you talking about like maybe staining on stainless steel appliances, or what are you actually seeing?
Having to periodically, like every 6 months, clean my appliances.
Okay. Okay.
Because things get it so hard.
Like
It's
descale them?
Okay.
Washing machine, dishwasher.
Okay, yep, and what we can do too is if you want, we have our annual water quality reports online, so we can also send you that information as well, so you can at least just see.
Yeah.
You know, yep, so we can send that out, yes, ma'am. Julie?
So I'm wondering if anywhere in this metro area, you or an analogous utility is engaged in anything in a neighborhood that looks like ours with these old pipes, narrow streets, where we could go and take a tour and see this in operation. And I think it would relieve a lot of anxiety.
Yeah, Kevin would know.
Yeah, we currently have, by the end of next month, we'll have like 30, 40 projects underway in your area. We have in different parts of Chevy Chase, already, like on the Kensington side. We have some, we also have some within Bethesda, stuff right away in the region. So we can provide you some of the information, but we have many projects underway currently. And also sewer spraying, so.
Yeah, it would be great if town could, figure out a time for us to take a tour, so we don't go in, need to disturb people individually or disturb them.
Yeah, you can definitely see, we can see ones that have most of the projects these days do have this, the yellow pipe. You'll see the plastic pipe that is your bypass pipe. Most of the projects that we do these days do have the bypass system, or one bypass, and you'll see the yellow pipe running down. The if you have curb and gutter, not all the jobs have curb and gutter, but it's usually running down right down the pan line. And it will have services coming out of that into each individual. We don't tie it into the house, we tie it right into where our line meets your line at the property line.
And in some of these projects had some trees that had moved
We
out.
can also, yeah, every project has some trees, yeah. And it's not every tree, and we try to, we still, like I said, we still meet with each customer, even if it's not the customer's tree, we all realize that, but people feel like to maintain everything in front of the house, they feel like it's their tree, so we still meet with the customer prior to cutting trees. Even though they do receive a letter in the design phase that that tree will be impacted. So as the design phase is going on, they do have tree letters that go out. So you will get a notice way ahead of a tree. There is some ways, the problem with some of the trees is that if you have an outside meter, an outside cutoff valve, sometimes it is literally right inside the root system of that tree within a foot or something. So there's no way to connect our line to your line with that. We have had one customer who chose to replace their water line at the same time as we were on ours, and they rerouted their water line so we could reroute our water line around the tree, but that could be substantial cost to the customer, but that is always a feasibility. Someone really wants to keep that tree. We have worked with them where they relocated their water line, and then that allows us to relocate our water line. Our problem is with the existing is that we need to reconnect into wherever your line comes from your house, and sometimes that just happens to be underneath the tree. So that's where the trees cut. It's not that we try to avoid it when it costs us money, but also we know what people do the care about your trees, so we try to avoid it any way possible. And you talk about the root pruning, typically the drip edge of a tree, which is the very outside of the tree with the very, what they call the drip edge. If you start getting within 40% of that drip edge, that's when you pretty much have to take a tree. It usually won't withstand anything more than that. And also depending on what type of tree and what type of health it already is in, that affects it a little bit. That's what the arborist actually he writes the permit for the parks and parkland and the Montgomery County to take those trees out. So there's a permit that's done to do that. But we do coordinate all of it. And if a town has their own arborist, like some towns actually have their own, we actually coordinate with their arborists also.
You have Dr. Feather?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they'll be very familiar with it. Because they
Oh, you work with them on the one in Cumberland.
Yeah.
Come down.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, so, let's take this phase 2 as an example and take approximately 1 year. So should we expect pretty much during that 1 year, every week during that 1 year, there'll be a WSSC water crew working block by block by block, or will it be a month and then maybe 2 or 3 weeks, nothing, and then another month or two? How do these things get staged?
So this is, oh, I'm sorry, this 1 year for the phase 2 is the design only.
Okay, so
Design.
maybe
The
just go to-
construction will
maybe
probably
just
be
go back to
around the
phase 1
3
as
years.
phase 1
Yeah,
as an
phase
example.
1 is already designed,
Yes, yes,
so.
maybe better just show the phase 1 time. But yeah, just for me to, just for us to understand.
One, we
Yeah.
do phase them, so you would have, so you won't, if you're in, if you're in phase 1, you don't have to wait to phase 3 is done until you're paved. We try to do the permanent paving and restoration per phase as we're moving forward, so you're not waiting, we're not going to have the same streets. With the streets, with the actual installation, some people get confused. There's the ways we install, especially when we're doing replacement in kind. We have to, there's sections we have to cut. We do a shutdown, cut, and we have to cap the ends of the pipes. The pipe there to keep the water, and we let the old pipe still be fed on the other side while we're putting the house connections in. So we cap that, so that's a phase. You'll see us dig up an area in the street, we'll do the cap, we'll do what's called a thrust block, which is a concrete block or to restrain the pipe itself. So we'll do that, we'll dig up that intersection for that to do that cut. Then after that cures and sets up and goes through, and then we start connecting all of the temporary water things. Then we come back and we would install a main down that roadway, that section. We typically do anywhere from 120 to 220 linear foot a day. So you'll know kind of how it's coming up your block. You'll see it coming up your block, and that's what we typically do in a standard day. With that, we excavate, remove the old pipe, put new pipe in, put new soils, new stone back in, recompact it, and do temporary asphalt over it. So you're never left with open trenches. It's always at the end of each day, it's paved. It's a temporary paving that we come back and will replace.
And you go street by street.
It goes street by street. And after the water main is installed, we do a pressure test on the water main, and we do a chlorination test on the water, we chlorinate the pipe, we kill any bacteria, we affect that in the pipe, and then we come back and start hooking up everybody's houses. So we will be digging in front of your house at least twice with the water main installation. It's not a mistake. It's the only way you can do it, but you have to go back and redo the connections. So we will be digging in front of the house at least twice. And then when we do permanent paving, the permanent patching part, where Montgomery County requires cutbacks on their asphalt. So we have to go 1 foot beyond our trench line with the paving repair. So we still cut 1 foot on each side of the trench. So the trench might be 30 inches wide. Well, now we're going to be an extra 24, so it'll be 54 inches wide with the patch you see coming down. After that patch and all that stuff is complete, WSSC does, or whatever the agreement with the town is, on the mill and overlay, we mill, unless the town takes that responsibility. I'm not sure how this is written into an MOU or not. Some parts of Chevy Chase, they do the paving and we do an MOU with them. So if that's our responsibility, we have a separate company that comes in and builds down the pavement to make it, it puts new pavement on the whole road.
But does that mean that if, like, one of the things we've been talking about is replacing some of our curbs and gutters, that we should just hold off on that?
Yeah, you would probably want to do that. Yeah, you'd want to do it before the permanent paving is done. So you're not thinking, but if y'all are going to do an MOU for permanent paving, you could coordinate all that yourself. That would be a lot of the townships in WSC or village, then Chevy Chase or villages do their own paving contracts, and they do what's called an MOU or WSC works out an agreement dollar-wise that we do on an MOU, and then the town manages that. Yes, please, go ahead.
Yes, sorry, I didn't identify myself before, Virginia Berkeley. So this project, you have the plan for this. Do we get to know which streets? So a two-part question. Do you identify the streets for us? Because this is a relatively large area of our town, where you'll begin and how the work will proceed. Part one, and part two is, are there any residual effects in the home itself when you disconnect and reconnect these mains that we would want to be aware of this?
Sure. So the first part of that question,
Yes.
sometimes we're able to tell you that. Sometimes it depends on the contractor. They do often have an idea, can get an idea of where they'll begin and kind of a general. On some, we are able to tell, every couple of weeks, we're able to sort of say, hey, we plan to be in this. Some contractors don't necessarily work that way with a look ahead. But if that is something that is desired here, we can certainly look into that with you, Kevin.
Yeah.
Okay.
We do, I mean, our contractors require, they give us a 2-week look ahead. And with an organized township like y'all have, that is something we provide to some of the towns. That's, and they can send out kind of where the 2-week look ahead, where the contract is heading.
We don't do it on every project, but if he's got it, we certainly can do it. Sure.
And one of the things too is prior to any construction, planned construction, we'll do another community outreach meeting. So we'll have dates, times, pictures of this pipe. We keep talking about the bypass pipe and also a list of the streets that are gonna be on it. And by then you all would have received a letter. So we'll be able to provide more concrete information.
I don't even have to do my.
Once we get to that, once we get to that point, yeah.
And we'll also show the phasing so you would know if you're in the third phase, second phase, or third phase.
Right. And then you will also know because we notify you about the parking. Because these streets are very narrow, so the cars will have to be removed while we are on the street. And I think that 2 days prior.
It's a 48-hour notice. Yeah, there's a single parking sign. That's only within the work zone, and it's only during work hours. It's not at night. So if you have a car parked there during the day, at night, if somebody has a park, it wouldn't affect that. It's just during work hours, we'll have a parking zone.
Yeah, I've seen it's like the 2-week look ahead would be helpful for anyone who travels and lives their car.
And usually what we do is the project manager would then send it probably to EJ or something so that you'd have it to be able to notify through a listserv or through some email capacity, because we can't mail that, but we can certainly email it.
Yeah, that's.
I think the parking issue is really important. Just as an example, today it was a Pepco contractor doing tree trimming on Uppingham. And the neighbors across the street from us are out of town. Their van is parked on the street. And so he was knocking on their door saying, can you move your van so we can get the truck under the tree to cut? It's like, they've gone on vacation.
WSSC water is somewhat unique in this, and it's a great thing. We will tow. Gently tow just outside of the work area, relocate, yes, relocate. But it, just outside of the area at no cost to you. So we'll move your vehicle to maybe the next street over where there's no work or just outside of our work zone. Okay.
Everybody with an all-wheel drive car is getting nervous here now.
No, it's right. Yeah.
We don't hook a chain up to
car.
No.
It's a professional.
We need a note.
So spring 2027.
We do have the signs up 48 hours in advance.
It's difficult to know what car goes with what house. Sometimes if it's on the street.
I think if we have that 2-week look ahead, we can just notify residents that, any day now, you could get a 48-hour notice. And that way residents can say, okay, it may not be tomorrow, it may not be next week, but if I'm going out of town day after tomorrow, I'm moving my car on the street, and then I don't care what the sign goes or when it goes up.
That's super
And here's one thing to notice too. The no parking signs are for just a period of time. Once work is over, you're free to park back where you normally do. Just make sure that vehicles are relocated during the times on the sign. So it doesn't mean you have to relocate it for the whole project or that whole week. We just ask that you're outside of that certain zone during the work hours we need.
Right. So the no parking signs will be moving along as the work is moving.
Okay.
Next slide,
the water. You do get, when we do shutdowns and restart water, you can get, some debris, some cloudy water in it. We do flush the fire hydrants. You'll see us open the fire hydrants to get as much of the air out of the line as well as the, as any sediment that's stirred up in the pipe through. And then we recommend, there's some recommended things that you do inside your house also. We recommend usually you go to your tub area. Your tub doesn't have the screens in it. Most tubs, some of the, depending on your tub size, but if you have a tub, it doesn't have the, or a laundry tub, it doesn't have the screen in your actual faucet, that you would run that thing on with cold water because it won't clog up with debris. But your other faucets could clog up with debris. It's usually just a screen or the aerator in your faucet that's clogged up. But if you run or an outside hose bib, because it doesn't have a faucet, and let that run until the air's out of the line and until the water's clear. It shouldn't be too much. It's just going to be your line that you're clearing out.
And you don't have to, this is great information. Kevin has helped me put together the door hanger and a letter with this, so you don't have to remember all of that. We will send you the information so that you can see the step-by-step that Kevin's going over that you would want to perform. Okay?
And because the water handling does that, which is the air, and that usually you want at the highest point of your house to get the air out of line, and it should stop pretty shortly, but that definitely can happen. We turn the valves off. We turn the valves back on very slowly, so we're not, forcing the water. We turn them very slowly to generally bring the line back up. It does take us a little longer, but we're not. And most of you have, depending on the age of the house or the age of the plumbing, you probably have a regulator that controls the pressure in your house.
I'm not so sure.
Yeah, if it's an
I'm
older
not so
house,
sure.
no, if it's an older, it's in code for about 25 years now.
And a lot of these homes are here for more than that.
So if your plumbing works older than that, it might not have a regulator.
Oh, would you like to continue on to this one? Want me to, whatever?
Sure.
Okay.
So this next slide is just, to provide you information that WSSC built this multi-layer map. It's a GIS map where you can, if you type the address or zoom into the location, you can see all our water and sewer projects, whether they're in planning or in construction or in design. If you zoom in the map, then it will highlight the streets. If you click on those, then it will show you what stage is it, if it's in the planning or if it's in design or construction and repairs. Who is the responsible contact person, their phone number, email address. And I think it shows if they completed or if it's in active or if it's a completed project. And the website down is a GIS portal.wsscwater.com/IYN/ in your neighborhood. In your neighborhood.
Right. If you just Google WSSC water in your neighborhood, it'll also come up a link to it. Yeah, great tool and it, you can look for your own, but even if you have a friend or family member who lives elsewhere in the region and you want to put their address in here, what's coming your way, you can look up anywhere within our Montgomery or Prince George's County service area. That's awesome. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay, we've covered a lot of this, but I just want to reassure everybody. So we have kind of a new thing that we've been implementing, I think, since about fall of last year, which is a meeting, a community meeting at the 30% design stage. So your phase one already has gone through 30% design, but for phase two, you're going to see us again. You're going to have an opportunity to meet with us virtually. We're going to go over even more detail than we're doing today about what's going to happen in phase two, all of the streets, the permits that we have to get, we're gonna talk about a lot, and we're also gonna wanna hear from you. It's a very interactive meeting in that we don't wanna just talk at you. We want you also to let us know if there are some things in the neighborhood that we need to be aware of, that Katarina needs to be aware of during design. That's an opportunity for you all to tell us. We know there's a school right there by phase one, that would have been the thing we found out about. She's gonna look at it anyway, you would look at it anyway, but we're gonna know more about that school at that 30% design meeting, or anything, whether there's, unique characteristics of the neighborhood that you want us to know about, okay? So, you probably also got a letter in the mail already about phase one,
yes.
right? Okay, good. Our process is working, good, because we're gonna get the same kind of thing for phase two, right? When it hits 70% design, we'll send you a fact sheet to let you know how things are going. You've heard us talk about this, but we're gonna come back and meet with you again. So we meet and meet and meet and meet. So we're gonna meet about 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks before construction begins. We come and hold a virtual meeting, and we'll have Kevin or the project manager there, who will talk directly about what to expect during construction. We will show photos, ma'am, of the bypass, what it looks like. We talk all about that and what to expect. So that's coming too. For those people who can't make that meeting, we also send a letter. So your neighbors and any, we have a project mailing list for each of our projects, right? That was established early in design. So we'll use that again to let everybody know that this is coming your way. So even if you can't make all these meetings we have, you'll have paper that we send to your home with how to reach out to us with any questions too, okay? Also be aware, we've started something new. During every quarter for our active construction projects, we'll send you a little mailer with some highlights of this season, we plan to do X, Y, and Z. So that project mailing list will also, you'll be getting every 3 months or so a periodic update. So and then Kevin mentioned the door hangers. That's how we communicate for immediate concerns. Hey, we need to turn your water off for 30 minutes to 2 hours. We're going to give you a door hanger that has some information on there about that. Okay? Okay. Any questions about the notifications? Okay. Okay. So I told you early on, important numbers for everybody. Our customer service department, I'm sure you all have called at some point for something, but we're open from 8 to 6, Monday through Friday. It's 301-206-4001. You can also reach us at customer service at WSSCwater.com. Brandon has been going out and talking about our customer notification system and making sure more and more people sign up for this. It's really important to sign up for it because if there is a water or sewer emergency in the area, this is how you find out about it. So we really want people to know about it, sign up for it. You can sign up for up to 3 addresses for text or email alerts. So to register, you want to go to WSSCwater.com/CNS. And then this is so important. We put it in this thing twice. We put it in here twice. We really do want to hear about if you think you are experiencing or witnessing a water or sewer emergency, please call we call it the radio room, but their emergency call center at 301-206-4002. Okay. Next slide, please. I don't have to go through all of this, but I want you to know what this is and that it's here for you. It's all on our website too. But this is all about water bill assistance. And like, even if you don't need it, you might know someone in need who does need it. We have 4 key core programs that are going all the time now to help with water bill assistance. Everything from a little flexible payment plan, our Promise one. There are more elaborate programs like our CAP, Customer Assistance Program. The Water Fund has been around forever, and eligible people can go to the Water Fund for up to $500 per year. I do want to tell you about Pipe ER because that might apply to some of you here in the room, right? You might be wondering, what about those pipes on my own property, right? What about the pipes? You all are talking a lot about your infrastructure. What about mine? Sometimes it needs a diagnostic or rehabilitation or replacement even. We have a program that can help provide a loan up to $10,000 through our federal credit union if you need to have any kind of repair or replacement on your own property. So you can find out about any of these programs at wsscwater.com/assistance. Okay.
So question, so does that include water pipes in your basement? That includes, or is it just connection into your house?
Great question. I believe it's outdoor infrastructure, but I don't have the answer to that question 100%. I don't know if Mr. Stewart does.
Yeah, we'll have to double check. I know it's for the on-property pipes, but it might cover all interior and exterior up to the property line.
Whoa.
We can get you that information.
I would really like to know about that.
Right. We'll look into that.
Good to get that information.
I have a question. I'm sure a lot of us have been bombarded with letters that looks like it's coming from WSSC and, you know, you have to buy this insurance because you're responsible. So, I mean, obviously, home insurance covers everything that's your property. So what do we do with that?
We don't endorse.
Yeah, so years ago, we endorsed a company called HomeServe USA. And then when we disconnected, so HomeServe USA still exists. Any customers that signed up before we stopped the endorsement, your plans are still valid. But there are some companies that will use our logo and say, hey, we're working for WSSC. This, if it's suspicious, you can give us a call, report it, be prepared to, you know, send a photo so we can take a look at it, but we're not endorsing any companies for any pipe insurance, things of that nature, or even water quality. Now we're hearing some folks are saying people are knocking on your door wanting to test your water, and they're saying they work for WSSC Water. There's no affiliation with WSSC. If you have to call someone, call your township, contact us immediately and let us know so we can be prepared and be prepared to also speak to it.
But is it necessary to buy that extra insurance?
Well, here's a good point. Some residents reported that their homeowner's insurance doesn't provide coverage, so they have to get that type of insurance. And I think depending on what you want, sometimes you can get water only, sewer only, or both. It's usually $20, $30 a year. But one of the things we've always told people is before you do anything, one, check with your own homeowner's insurance. And secondly, do your own research if you want to do it. If you would like to go that, because there are a lot of companies that do offer it, but we just tell people do your own research, but definitely check with your homeowner's insurance provider first. Yeah.
Any other questions? Well, I think it's been really helpful to have you here, and I really appreciate that so many of you took the time to participate and answer questions and go through all of these areas of concern that Somerset's had. So I really appreciate it, and I think all the residents here appreciate it. I think we've got a few things we'll probably follow up with you. We will put this presentation on our town website. We'll do the town announcements, and we'll work on something regarding the grease and the wipes as part of that, so that it's well communicated. So with that, I think we can adjourn. I think there's some bilateral conversations that need to take place.
Yes.
So I'll give you a bit of time to do that. So thanks everybody for coming, and thank you again to WSSC Water team.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Monica, thank you very much. Hardeep, thank you very much.